Examples on how to do a comic book adaptation right. They respect the source material, but aren't afraid to be their own thing at times. They're funny when they need to be funny. They're serious when they need to be serious. They've got some great action sequences, and all of the characters have very strong chemistry with one another. So I was very interested to see how this latest reboot would compare to the originals. And unfortunately, I saw that abortion in theaters last night, and I'm still trying to figure out what the hell it was that I saw up on that screen, because it barely qualifies as a movie. In fact, it's got more in common with a 2-hour-long trailer, which is pretty ironic when all of the high points of this movie are in the goddamn trailers and the R-rated sizzle reel, or whatever the hell the title of that thing was. Yeah, they literally released a trailer for the movie that took all of the gory scenes and whatnot and put them into one trailer, and that's literally all you need to watch. Just watch the trailers and that sizzle reel, and you will enjoy yourself more than I did going to the theater and sitting through this absolute waste of my damn time. I sat through all of Captain Marvel, and never once did it occur to me that I could actually get up and leave the theater. And by the time this movie got into its second act, I wondered why the hell I was still in that seat and not just leaving and finding some fucking sanity at the bar. But this movie wasn't a complete turd. There were some peanuts in there for you. So what did this movie do right? Well, for starters, Daniel Day Kim, who portrays the character Ben Daimyo in this movie, is phenomenal as Daimyo. He looks the part. He acts the part. He's very true to the source material, and he was pretty fun when he was on screen. He was kind of the straight face to Hellboy's more goofy route of going about things, and it was fun to see the clash between those two characters. The Baba Yaga is in the movie as well, and she's probably the best part of the movie. Unfortunately, she's been reduced to only about 5 minutes of screen time, but it is a really good 5 minutes. It's a very good 5 minutes. Unfortunately, 5 minutes is still 5 minutes, and this movie could have been 2 hours of Baba Yaga and Hellboy sitting at a dinner table with one another and just talking, and I would have given this movie a 10 out of 10, but unfortunately, no, I got 5 minutes. Now, David Harbour as Hellboy, actually, he could make a really good Hellboy if the script wasn't absolute garbage. It doesn't matter how good an actor is. If the script is crap, they're gonna be crap. But, you know, with the makeup and everything, he looks like Hellboy, he acts like Hellboy, and I actually really feel sorry for the guy, because this could have been a very good, movie if they didn't make the movie, I guess is what they would have had to have done. And by that, I mean that everything that they used in this script needed to go. Completely rewrite the script, completely reshoot the movie. It's an unsalvageable mess. And let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. What does this movie do wrong? Because there's a lot of it. Probably 95% of the damn movie. Oh, no, wait. No, there is one other good thing. There's a fight sequence between Hellboy and some giants in the first act, which, again, unfortunately, you see most of that in the trailers, so you can just watch the trailers. But either way, going to what this movie does wrong. Okay. Now, I want to be as hard on this movie as humanly possible, because this thing is the redheaded stepchild of the Hellboy franchise, and I'd actually say it's got, as far as its place in the franchise, it's got more in common with Ghostbusters 2016 or Star Wars The Last Jedi than it does any of the other Hellboy movies. And so if you've seen either of those movies, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. This thing sucks and deserves to be ripped apart as brutally as possible, and God, I'm going to do my damn best. So, you know how people complain how Lord of the Rings has 5 endings? Well, this movie has 5 fucking openings, and not one of them works. The movie starts off with some bullshit black and white and voiceover narration nonsense that you could completely just get rid of, and the audience wouldn't be any worse for wear. And then after that, the movie starts again with a 5-minute-long adaptation of Hellboy in Mexico, where everything that's introduced in that scene is completely forgotten about by the time the movie hits the second act. And then we start off with Hellboy going back to the BPRD and all that such, and again, the majority of those scenes you could cut the fuck out as well, because by the time the movie actually gets going, they've forgotten about everything that's really been introduced in that intro. So your entire first act, you can get it the fuck out, and the first act drags the hell on for pointlessly long, which is pretty damn weird considering how fast Act 2 and Act 3 were. I mean, there was one point in the movie where a character gets hurt. We have to go to a place and do a thing in order to save the character. And by the time they're done getting the directions on where to go and what to do, they've already fixed the character. 3 minutes, start to finish, entire plot point wrapped up. I mean, in comparison, when Hellboy gets stabbed in Hellboy and the Golden Army, it's a good 10-15 minutes of them trying to find the Angel of Death and to fix Hellboy, and it's a lot of really strong acting, great scene, and they basically just rehashed that scene in 3 minutes, and the whole thing fucking sucked. And besides the Baba Yaga, Hellboy, and Ben Daimyo, every other character in this movie was miscast. I mean, Alice, for example, the whole race swapping thing aside, they basically tried to take Liz Sherman and Alice from the comics and combine them into one character. They tried to make her some kung fu badass and gave her all these powers that she didn't have in the books, and she just ended up being the most annoying thing on the damn screen the entire fucking time. And then Ian McShane, of all people, he was just, oh my God. Instead of seeing something like, his portrayal of Winston in John Wick for Professor Broom, we ended up getting something that looks like it was cut out of a Quentin Tarantino movie. The majority of the F-bombs actually come from McShane. But not even just the majority of the F-bombs, the single cringiest line in the movie is also delivered by this man. And this is where it gets weird. I'm going to go ahead and give you that line. So there's a scene where Hellboy is sitting there and talking about how, well, maybe if humans didn't kill monsters, monsters wouldn't be so bad, which the entire time he's going through that scene, I'm just like, you want to talk about Trump, you're trying to talk about Trump, but you're not talking about Trump directly. It's like he was just trying to get in his daily dose of Orange Man bad. And in response to this whole thing about how, well, maybe monsters aren't so bad, Ian McShane looks Hellboy straight in the eyes and says, has Nimue seduced you with her perfumed words and perky tits? And he delivers that line straight-faced. And it was at that point that I realized I'm supposed to be taking this movie as seriously as I would Beavis and Butthead Do America, or Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. But unfortunately, even then, after shutting down the vast majority of my brain function, I was still not able to enjoy this on-screen abortion. They completely mishandled that character. John Hurt portrayed that character to perfection in the original movies. And so when you see that, and then you see this, it's just like, Luke Skywalker was treated better in The Last Jedi than Professor Broom was treated in this damn remake. Okay? Bill Murray was treated better in Ghostbusters 2016, and he got thrown out of a goddamn window. And don't even get me started on Mila Jovovich, okay? So she basically just half-assed this entire movie. And even her tits being out for, maybe 2 scenes couldn't save this goddamn mess. So if you've ever seen a movie starring Mila Jovovich, you've seen everything she does in this movie. She doesn't try to be original. She doesn't try to play this character different than any other character. She just does this really annoying kind of, I'm trying to sound British because of the words I'm using without actually putting on an accent. It's bad. It's very, very bad. Mila Jovovich is not a star actor, and even then, we're getting a trash tier performance out of somebody who I already was expecting a D-list performance from. So special effects. Well, at least it's got to have good special effects, right? Yeah, no, you'd think that, but no. It's like the longer this movie goes on, the worse the special effects get. And there's a couple of points where I'm like, are they using CGI or are they using practical effects? And I don't even think the actual cast and crew of this film could answer that damn question. I mean, there's one scene where they're talking to a ghost, and the ghost is clearly CGI, and the ghost is like swaying left and right and blah, blah, blah. And then the head of the ghost is completely stationary the entire time, and it's just terrible. I mean, there's a part in the movie, admittedly it's a blink and you miss it scene, where you see where the Hellboy costume ends and Harbor's actual skin begins. For those of you who are actually going to see this cinematic pile of feces, it's the scene where he's in the shower towards the beginning of the movie. He's wearing nothing but a towel, and if you look right at the line of the towel, you can see his natural skin color. I've seen better special effects on a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Well, surely that's as bad as it gets, right? No. Then we get to the third act. So, if you've seen the trailers, you see that there's this giant demon invasion and whatnot. And with the exception of maybe 20 seconds, all of that is in the trailers. And with the exception of maybe 10 seconds, all of that is in the R-rated sizzle reel. So again, just watch the trailers. There's no reason to watch anything else. God. This is a mess. And so the third act goes along way too quickly. And it actually has the single most unsatisfying ending I've seen in a movie in a very long time. It Phantom Menaces itself. That's the only way to put it. They do the thing, they hit the button, within maybe 20 seconds, everything is reversed. It's bullshit. And then, once that's done and over, it tacks on this one other sequence, which, again, the majority of you see in the trailer. Yeah, the last shot of the movie is in the trailers. And honestly, it should have been a post-credit scene. It honestly should have been a post-credit scene. And speaking about post-credit scenes, this movie has two. And neither one of them are actually, like, you know, building on anything. I mean, the second one kind of does, but you're just better off going and, you know, reading about it online than actually sitting and waiting through the damn credits. The first end credit scene is actually kind of funny and is better than the entirety of the movie. So that says a lot when the end credit scene is the highest point. Seriously, going through Ron Perlman's Twitter feed is a better Hellboy experience than this movie. I mean, I would rather listen to him retell that story about the time he pissed on his hands for 2 hours than watch this movie again. That's how bad this thing is. But either way, can I recommend this movie? No, not really. I can't. If you're a Hellboy fan, I encourage you to never watch this movie. In fact, it's like the more you like Hellboy, the less you will like this movie. And the more you will hate it. If you don't know anything about Hellboy, by all means, go right ahead. Oh, by the way, before I close this thing up, the R rating. They made a big deal about this movie being rated R. And, well, so what actually contributes to the R-rated content? Well, like I said, there's a scene where if you look really hard, you can see Mila Jovovich's tits. There's a lot of forced profanity. I know it's weird coming from me, but yeah, a lot of forced profanity. And a lot of the gore is, again, in the trailers. Yeah, go watch the Red Band trailers, go watch the R-rated sizzle reel, and it's all in the trailers. The Demons Invade sequence is so over the top with its gore and its violence and everything, you just end up laughing. There's no way to take this movie seriously in any way, shape, or form, and it's not like it's one of those movies that is aware of what it is. Like, this movie is still taking itself seriously, and that's the problem. It needed to just stop taking itself so seriously and just goof off and have some fun. But either way, I feel sorry for Dave Harbour, whatever what his fucking name is because, again, he could have been a great Hellboy. And I think he did give a solid performance as Hellboy, but this script was shit. Undiluted, pure shit. So let me know what you think about Hellboy down in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like and share and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Special thanks to all the people who support the channel on Patreon. You guys